Welcome to the program on this finally Friday. It is, it's about 106 right now. We got a rundown on your forecast looking like a beautiful week in store for us, stretching into next week with fairly, if not almost completely, dry conditions. We'll run down all the details on what the next week's going to look like, including a nice weekend coming up here in just a bit. If you want to ask some questions, be a part of our conversation today, we encourage you to do so. Give us a phone call, 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email during or after the show. That's weather@flagfamily.com as well as ag@flagfamily.com. You can watch us each and every single day there on Facebook or YouTube Live. Just search Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. I got Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki here on my left, and on my right, Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, what's going on today? How you doing?
Bismarck, North Dakota, still here. That's an okay thing. It is the North Dakota Stockmen's Association's annual meeting. This is their 95th annual meeting. This is one of our state's oldest organizations, and then there's some pretty neat fun facts about it. First of all, they have had great discussions this morning talking about the initiative to actually eliminate property tax in North Dakota, and that was a discussion that was held from the perspective of many in the room as landowners, but also those on school boards, fire departments, county commissions, and how all of this could possibly affect them. So that was a great discussion. They also had folks here from the Public Lands Grazing Association. They had an opportunity to share about, some of the things that happen in other states with doctrine, Supreme Court rulings, et cetera, and how that can possibly affect us. We do have some limited federal grazing lands here in the state, and it's always nice to know what could potentially happen with those. Just wrapping up a luncheon right now where the Stockmen's Foundation is giving away college scholarships. There were 10 scholarships awarded, over 90 students applied. So this is a tough competition. And so many good things going on here today in Bismarck for the Stockmen's Association. Again, 95 years. They started out in Watford City and are looking forward to celebrating their 100th anniversary. They are one of the few Stockmen's Associations that administer the brand service in North Dakota, whether it is for our the chief brand inspectors with Stockmen's. They handle all the brand inspections, the directory, etc. In most states, that's handled by the Department of Agriculture. Not the case here. We do it a little differently.
Right on. Cool. Sounds like some good stuff. And 95 years. Wow, it's a good run for them. Just a few short years away from 100 in 2029. Man,
yes, plan for it.
Here quick, isn't it?
They intend to celebrate back their 100th anniversary back in Watford City. That's the home of the Triple V Ranch, because the Triple V was a big proponent of starting Stockmen's Association in 1929.
Yeah, right on. Cool. Well, we'll touch on a few more of those things throughout the course of our hour. Randy from Dairyland Seed is going to be on with us about 1:20, giving us a little update on our Here We Grow Corn 2024. For those that are new and just joining us who are unaware of what Here We Grow Corn 2024 is this is a documented process on what it takes for us and some of our sponsors to grow 20 acres of corn up here in North Dakota. If you want to follow along, you can watch our progress on Facebook and YouTube. Just search Weather and Ag in Focus. You'll find our page, and we have Here We Grow Season 2. If you want to go back in time, we grew 20 acres of soybeans last year, and, we came across all sorts of problems that, a few of them we didn't expect would ever even be a possibility of happening. But, random things happen, and you wake up one day and there's a road through your cornfield or your soybean field, and it turns out that stuff does happen more often than you'd think. So fun stuff over there if you want to go check out the Here We Grow videos. They're all up there, seasons 1 and most of season 2 so far. Also coming up on the program today, we'll be touching a little bit about sheep shearing school. That's coming up pretty quickly, apparently, as well as Rural Well Podcast. We're going to find out about what that is. And from my understanding, Bridgette, you were one of the guests or members on the Rural Well Podcast.
I am indeed. I am partnering with the National Farmers Mental Health Alliance out of Ontario. My co-host is Loren Van Uwick, and Loren and I wanted to start something. We had this discussion with a number of other folks throughout the last few months We wanted to have a podcast that talks about mental health in farming and ranching, and then additionally physical health. If you are injured, where can you find resources? Well, we have folks that can help you if you need lifts to get into tractors and combines. What if you need help taking care of expenses while you or a family member is away for an extended hospital stay? But most importantly, we want to talk about your mental health and how to work through things like farm transition, holidays, boundaries when you farm with family, and so much more. So look forward to downloading the Rural Well podcast. Our first episode came out on Monday, and there'll be many more to follow.
Right on, right on. Good stuff. Be looking forward to listening to that, Bridgette. I'll have to give a couple of them a listen here. Before we run down the forecast, again, if you want to join in on the conversation today, 701-293-9000. Dean, you want to play a little game?
Always up for a good little game.
So Bridgette is on location today, as she had mentioned. She's in Bismarck, and she is connecting to our studios via a video link for our live streams on Facebook and YouTube today. And in the background of where Bridgette is a random building. And it looks like it is a three-story building with some plant matter on the front. Dean, do we want to take a guess at what kind or brand of building she is parked in front of today? Because I want to go in, and I'm going to say that it's a Comfort Inn.
Well, can we zoom in? I don't know. Can we zoom in?
Here, come look over here real quick. Yeah, let's
see. Can I zoom in?
We'll share a microphone here too as well. Bridgette just got to turn around. So it kind of looks like a hotel, or like a little bit.
Those are some large trees, or what is that?
Those look like arborvitae.
It's
I'm
a
gonna get hate mail
vine.
on that. Oh, it's a vine.
I have no clue.
It's a
You
climbing
don't even
vine.
want to take a stab. No. Like a Days Inn or some Days Inns, or that's not a Days Inn. All right, Bridgette, where are you parked in front of today?
All right, the convention is being held at the Bismarck Hotel, formerly a Ramcota property. It's here in South Bismarck. The convention goes on throughout the day. I'll be leaving here this afternoon. But yes, there'll be folks here tonight. They have a banquet. Ty Murray's going to be here. Ty Murray is one of the folks that helped to start the Professional Bull Riders Association. He was a close friend of Lane Frost, who was a bull rider killed in the ring. And Ty also owns a cow-calf operation in Texas, and he's just a well-known name in rodeo.
What's the attendance out there, Bridgette, roughly?
Oh, I would guess registered. There's probably 300 people registered to be here, which it's interesting to note that that's probably a tenth of their membership. I think they have well over 3,000 members here in the state of North Dakota, one of the largest affiliates of a stockman's association. But it's kind of that timing of the year. You know, here we are in September. You probably don't have a lot of fall calving going on yet. You maybe just finished hay, haven't brought home cattle. But if you farm, and a lot of our ranchers in North Dakota farm, and additionally, you might be combining or gearing up to combine. So it's got to be that little bit of a balance of attendance and getting work done at home.
Right on.
Busy.
Well, it's very unusual outside. If you look up, you can see nothing but clear blue skies.
Here we go.
There's no planes flying overhead right now.
Oh, boy.
Which leaves us with a very nice view.
Where's the conspiracy music?
I
know where this is going.
Dean, what's going on with the weather out there today?
Well, it's actually a pretty decent day out there today.
Oh, sorry. Were you expecting this one?
Yeah, that was kind of the one
All
I
right,
was expecting.
We'll spit the weather out to this one today.
Okay, interesting. So, nothing but blue sky, no chemtrail spraying over Fargo Metro today, so it's looking good to go. With highs today in the upper 70s to near 80 and winds out of the west-southwest around 10 to 20. For tonight, we'll see the clouds increase, so if there are chemtrail sprays tonight, you will not be able to see them as we'll have some cloud cover overhead.
Well, what about the moon? The moon will illuminate.
Well, I think we'll see enough cloud cover towards morning. Early in the night, the moon will illuminate it. So
sure.
We'll keep an eye on the sky for that
Did you
early
see how
tonight.
bright it was the other day?
It was a super full moon.
It was a super full harvest moon.
Harvest, yes,
Wow.
it was. Yeah. Mid-50s tonight.
All right, and then?
And then tomorrow turns windy as a cold front swings through. Any light sprinkles we get tonight will be out of here by tomorrow morning. And we're left with windy conditions out of the northwest, 20 to 40, and highs in the upper 60s tomorrow. Pick day of the weekend is Sunday, with light northwest winds and highs in the upper 60s. A pretty decent weekend overall. Tomorrow, though, that wind machine is really going to be cranking. All right.
Weather just hits different to that for some
It
reason.
really does.
It
you have
doesn't.
you have to mix it up a little bit, throw some conspiracy theories in with the forecast.
I mean, like the conspiracy bed slaps, but it just hit different with the weather.
A little bit. A little bit.
You know, you're
it means
doing
that-
it. I'm like, I can't take the weather serious to the music right
Yeah.
now.
So all the weather is now faked. All of it.
All the weather and the moon and how bright it was, observational errors. It never happened.
Well, first off, the Earth is flat. The moon is just, that's a...
An unexplained phenomenon.
But when you see radar tracings, ground-based eyewitness reports, there's something going on here.
There's something going on here, though.
Yes. But one thing that would be hard
it's Friday.
one thing that'd be hard to fake would be our corn crop. And I'm looking forward to hearing how that's going because I haven't been in the field this week. So it's a good thing we sent an extra pair of boots out there to go look. And that would be our representative, Randy Readel from Dairyland Seed, who went to go check it out. Dairyland provided us with a top-notch variety to bring us the best bushels and yield off of our field. And if you have not yet taken the time to go to our Facebook page and write down your guess of what you think our yield is going to be, raising corn on 20 acres north of Glinda, Minnesota, let us know. Because if you win, you may be getting a rain gauge, or if you actively farm, you might be getting a grain gauge.
I got a
for your
couple
grain bins.
questions for Randy, and actually you can answer one of them, Bridgette, but is it too early to be harvesting corn right now? Let's say not here, but down in the Central Plains.
Oh yeah, I've had pictures on social media all week long of people taking. They call it picking corn down there, which I always think is it's an old fashioned term because
that's southern states.
you used to have and you used to use corn pickers versus a corn combine, so they still call it picking corn, but we're actually combining it.
Oh.
So yes, there is actually some corn that's coming out of fields depending on where you're at and how early it was planted.
So it obviously depends on how early it was planted, but it just seems a little early in some areas, especially.
Well, it is
towards our-
almost October.
It
and
is,
I mean,
yeah.
you do. October's corn month and pumpkin month.
And November's a lot of corn.
Yeah. That's
Well,
all month.
ask Randy when he gets here because I have no doubt he's got some folks that they raise corn in, through Dairyland, raise corn in other states. Maybe he's got a little bit of an update of where he's hearing and what corn bushels might look like in other
Gotcha.
places.
Yeah, I got a couple as well. One of them revolving around does the sturdiness of the corn. Does it decrease as it dries out? We got some windy conditions coming in tomorrow, and I've seen a lot of corn drying down out there along the interstate. A lot of it starting to turn a little yellow, brown, crunchy.
So you get 40, 50 mile an hour winds.
My
We won't
corn
see
is
50,
dead.
but
That's dead. But that's okay because I already picked it.
so you didn't harvest it, you picked it.
I did pick it.
You're a corn picker.
I was a corn picker.
All right.
All right. Well, we got all
Oh,
our
the differences.
questions. Oh, there are differences. We got all our questions coming up for Randy from Dairyland Seed again. And if you got any, feel free to call us 701-293-9000. Bridgette's got her phone on standby right now, so you can text her. I'd love to hear from you though. Give us a call 701-293-9000. We'll be right back after the American Ag Network.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Hope you're having a great afternoon. It is nice and sunny and even a little bit on the warm side out here in Bismarck. And thank you to those Here We Grow sponsors. We're going to talk a lot about that cornfield today. And some of the folks that were a part of it would include Pivot Bio, wanting to make sure we had nitrogen for the field. Nitrogen is a vital source of growth for our corn crop, and we want to make sure that we did a great job of it this year. And also Foltz Buildings. If you are thinking about putting up a building, a shop, a new cabin, a house, shed, something, shop, you can talk to the guys at Foltz Building. They will help you make your dreams come true with exactly what you want. So our guest today is Dairyland Seed. Randy Readel joins us. And so he may have been listening in queue. I don't know if you heard all the questions that everybody seems to want to ask you today, Randy.
Oh, I heard a few of them. How are you guys doing today?
Good, Randy.
Good, Randy. How are you?
Good.
So where would you like to start with Dean's?
Well, I'll go first. So Randy, a friend of mine down in Nebraska, just finished harvesting his corn, and he's had record production. He said it's twice as good as what he's ever had. But the problem is the price of corn is so low, even though he doubled his production. He's really not making any money. What's the best way to kind of counteract that? I know we can store it, but for how long?
Oh, as long as it goes into the bin in good condition, we probably want it below 15% moisture. Part of the storage issue with corn is you can get some fines that will just stay in the center column where the bin is filled. If somewhere along the line you can pull a few of those loads out, that certainly extends the life of corn in storage. But yeah, we got to watch the moisture and we got to watch the FM. If we can mitigate those two, corn can stay in the bin for a long time.
And what's it going to take to see the production or the price of corn start to come back up a little bit?
Well, it's in my opinion not going to come back up for a while here. We're going to be in the midst of harvest here in October. There are some guys that don't have enough storage, so there'll be a lot of corn that winds up going into the local elevator. And when that happens, there's no incentive for the end users to bid it up. Now, there's a couple things that could happen. Maybe the USDA is off on what they think the crop is out there. If we get into harvest and we see substantially lower bushels, we'll probably see some fireworks on a basis in any given area, depending on where you're at. After harvest is over, I'm looking for something to happen in that February, March time frame there. It's always a bidding war for acres. Is it going to be more soybeans or more corn or more specialty crops? So usually we get some better prices once the calendar flips over and almost to springtime. So those are our two potentials there that I can think of.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I got one. When it comes to corn drying down, as I've seen some corn doing around the area, starting to turn yellow and brown and crispy, does the strength of the corn decrease as it dries down?
Yeah, it can happen depending on how the growing season went. There's diseases out there like anthracnose, and each individual variety has their strengths and weaknesses as for standing as long as they do or don't. Each variety is different. So what I usually tell my guys is now is a good time of the year before the harvest goes, is go out and push on that stalk a little bit so you can judge how strong that stalk is. You maybe want to yank some ears and see how well they're attached so we can avoid any ear droppage if it was going to happen. Our field where we have Here We Grow, things are looking pretty good. The stalks seem to be pretty strong. The ears are attached well. So I believe that can stand for a while. We certainly don't want any snow on anything, so you guys keep the snow away for a while. Nobody likes harvesting corn when there's snow. So yeah, our field looks good, although there will be other varieties out there. Weather patterns, if we go into a quick drought, that can cause some issues with stalks and ears. But generally, overall, I haven't detected a whole lot of that this year so far.
I see. So if we're gonna get windy conditions blowing across eastern North Dakota tomorrow morning through mid-afternoon, morning to early afternoon will be the strongest winds. But across the eastern half of our state, and especially just west of the valley tomorrow morning, may see a few localized areas that see wind gusts as high as 50, but generally a sustained wind between 15 and 30, gusting to 40 miles an hour is what we're expecting to roll through tomorrow behind a cold front in the morning. Is that going to bring any concern to corn crops out there currently, especially as they begin to dry down?
I hope not, but again, it's varietal dependent and the microclimate that corn was raised in. We can find some problems if we have a sustained wind for that long.
Okay.
I don't know, it was probably 10 years ago. We had a sustained 50, 60 mile an hour wind for about 10 hours, and everybody was a little disappointed on how well the corn stood. Well, if you were to dig up a corn plant and put it in the back of a pickup and drive down to Kansas City at highway speeds, you probably wouldn't have a lot of corn left there either. So, I mean, you have to put it into perspective.
Oh, and there's a lot of perspective left. I actually had a listener question. This came in quite some time ago. I've answered it once before, but I feel like we should do it again. When I have been asked, why do people combine corn when it's all dead and brown? Like Justin said, instead of combining it when it's green. So I've given answers on this before. Randy, what would you like to say about all of that?
Well, I think generally speaking, we want to combine the corn when the accumulation of dry matter is over. We commonly refer to that as black layer. The Here We Grow corn project, I checked yesterday, we are at black layer. That would translate to about 35% moisture. 35% moisture corn does not store. You would have to run it through a dryer to bring it down, or you could let it stand in the field and naturally dry down. Again, playing against stalk and ear shank quality against how dry you want to let it go. There's always a risk out there. Harvest is never over until it's in the bin. So some guys will start at say 22% moisture. Some guys will wait till the 18% moisture. All depends on the time of the year and the condition of the corn.
Okay, there's a whole list of other questions that I have here from folks. So we will want to continue this discussion after we return from our bottom of the hour news. Questions about what are types of storage problems do you have with high moisture? Do we think that we're going to get moisture to dry down before we start combining, and so much more? So we'll be back to continue our discussion with Randy Readel of Dairyland Seeds and our Here We Grow Corn project as we get ready for Harvest 2024. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Weather Nag and Focus. We're very busy talking about our Here We Grow corn crop. And again, don't forget to get those guesses in. If you have a good idea of what you think we're going to raise for bushels for our corn crop north of Glendon, Minnesota, we've got 20 acres in the field over there. Take a guess and then drop that guess on our Facebook page, Weather Nag and Focus, so we can get those recorded. Chance for prizes is still up and coming. So as we've been talking with Dairyland Seed today, Randy Readel has been answering questions about our field and just about combining corn in general. And so one of those questions that we have gotten has to do with, all right, we are at the point where our corn's at maturity, is what you said, but does that mean we're going to be ready to combine anytime soon?
Well, it depends on your taste for the cost of drying. You know, I think most guys this early in the game are going to try to let it sit out there a little while and naturally dry. Once it's physiologically mature, though, the yield is set at its peak. Can it come back down through stock issues and ears dropping off the plant? Yeah, so it's kind of a balance. Also depends on what's going on the farm there. Do you have other crops that you need to harvest first? Soybeans, sugar beet harvest is going to be coming up here quick. It just depends on each individual farmer. It seemed to be, I would say yesterday, it's probably 28% moisture right now. We've heard of guys taking corn at 28% before. As a matter of fact, I do believe a lot of guys down south do that. High moisture corn for feeding applications, or there is a thing called phantom yield loss. The theory on that is the sooner you get the corn off, the higher the yield is per acre. You can eliminate some of the header loss when the corn's a little bit wetter and the cobs are a little more pliable and hanging on to the kernels a little bit more. So it's each individual farmer's decision on how and when he wants to go.
Randy, when letting corn dry down naturally out in the field, still on the plant, is there a point where you can let the corn dry down too much? We've talked about 18% moisture content, 16% moisture content. Can it dry too much, and is there a penalty or an issue with that happening in any form?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, if you're going to go to a bin and you want to store it long term, we probably need to get it down to below 15% and take care of those fines and make sure you got a clean sample going into the bin. As far as, you know, you're going to get paid at the elevator based on a 56-pound bushel. And generally speaking, a little bit extra water adds to that bushel test weight. You would actually kind of just be taking money off the table for yourself if you wait until it got down to 10 or 12%. So 15% is a good number. I don't know of a lot of professional corn growers that would wait that long. Everybody should be set up with aeration bins and dryers. And there's a lot of years where it's not ever going to get that dry. Normally after the 1st of November, it's not going to dry anymore just due to day length and weather conditions out at that time. So there's really no advantage that I can see leaving that corn stand out there until it gets to 15%.
I see. And what about in terms of harvesting or combining corn in the field? If memory serves me right, I think there was an issue last year if you let soybeans dry too much that some of the pods would actually fall off the plant as you were harvesting. Is that a similar issue when it comes to corn?
Well, it can be. The kernels won't fall off the cob on their own, but the cob could fall off the plant. You know, especially like tomorrow, you brought up it's going to be a windy day. Hopefully nobody experiences lodging or ear droppage. So, you know, if the wind doesn't blow that long, I think we're going to be okay. But if it blows for 3 days straight, that's going to stress a lot of things out there.
Well, from what I can tell, we just need to rent a combine and send Dean and Justin out with a combine and a truck and just get started now, because we don't want anything bad to happen. So we should probably just get some work done in advance. You guys, you're not doing anything this weekend, right?
Well,
sitting.
what kind of prep would we have to do on the combine if we're heading out there, though? We gonna have to grease that up, or what are we gonna have to do?
Okay, so that's a great question. Randy, okay, what are your farmers doing right now to prep for corn harvest?
They're putting the corn hat on. They're making sure they have all the adjustments. But there could there be a few guys that take corn first before soybeans? Yeah, there is. Right now, the crop that is probably most in front of everybody is soybeans. So get the flex head out, get it greased up, make sure it's all working. And then there's intricate settings within the machine that you have to set depending on what crop you're combining or harvesting. Even within that crop, there can be variability on how you want that machine set so you can get a good clean grain sample and not lose too much out the back. So everybody's probably in the yard right now tinkering on it and making sure they got everything ready to go. And they're probably out driving around their fields too, trying to figure out which soybean field is going to go first, which corn field is going to go first, which one do we want to go first. So there's a lot of that going on right now.
And Randy, you've been out to our field and you've taken a look at the corn and what kind of condition it's in. We're going to put you on the spot here. If you had to venture a guess, what would you project our yield at if the condition of the corn, continues to stay the same and matures the right way here and no weather incidents that disturb it? What would be your guess on our yield this year?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I can do all the counts I can. You can estimate yield by counting kernels and counting cobs and counting plants.
Right.
But the real true test is when the combine actually rolls through there.
Okay.
I would say this is going to be an average year, maybe slightly above. I don't think this is going to be a bend buster year. I haven't seen any of those types of fields in that particular area. They're good. Don't get me wrong, but I think we have all probably seen better corn out there.
Okay, so I have some listener questions about things that Randy has talked about today that we're going to have to define. One of the things was he said FM earlier. He didn't mean Fargo Moorhead. So Randy, you're going to have to define that for people.
FM in a corn sample is anything that is not a corn kernel. It can be a cracked kernel. It can be the bee's wings, those little yellow tissue paper looking things that are always floating around, be sticks and twigs. Those things tend to accumulate when you put it into a bin right down the very center, and it inhibits the airflow, especially if you're trying to air dry it with a fan on the bin. You're not getting even airflow through that bin. So a clean sample going into the bin with minimal FM does go a long way to help you store it longer.
Okay, so last thing, do you think that we have a high or low test weight in our corn? Because you mentioned earlier how much, what's considered test weight on a bushel here in the U.S. and just where do you think that's going to land?
Again, that can vary by variety. I don't anticipate any problems with test weight outside of normal. Again, like I said, it depends by variety. There can be test weight differences. And on social media, test weight, I've heard guys, when they start a test weight conversation, one of them will say, I'll get the popcorn, because everybody's got a different opinion on test weight. Well, the fact of the matter is, you're getting paid for every 56 pounds that come off the field. Bushel is a volumetric measure. Weight is a weight measure. If I was to classify what test weight really means, it's a measure of quality. You can have low test weight, and if it's too low, you will get docked at the elevator for it. They'll discount you for it. I don't see any of the corn that I've been in that it's really going to have a test weight problem this year. I'm thinking it's all going to be 54, 55, 56 pounds.
And do you feel like a lot of folks are hauling directly in this year, or there's speculation that there is quite a bit of last year's crop still in the bins? So what do you think? Will half of this year's crop go on farm storage and the other half to the elevator, or would that percentage be slightly skewed?
Well, I think in a perfect world, everybody'd want to have enough storage to take their corn crop and sit on it for a while and let the prices recover. But I know that's not the case. I think every available bin will more than likely get filled with corn unless you, of course, have a forward contract at the elevator. You'll obviously haul that in to get that cleared up. Uh, like some of your videos have mentioned, haul it into the elevator, don't sell it right away, but then they turn around and charge you storage for that privilege. But I think generally speaking, most guys that I have talked to, if they can and they have the equipment and the storage, are probably going to tuck a fair amount away into the bin off the field.
Yeah, folks just want to wait and see how it looks. So, well, folks, if you've got other questions, you can let us know. But I think, guys, that kind of wraps up all the things we had today regarding our cornfield.
Sure does. Yeah, appreciate you coming in, Randy, and answering our questions and our listeners' questions as well.
Thanks for having me.
Wait, you forgot one thing.
Oh, what's that?
Go Bison. There you go.
Go Bison.
Look at it. Look what's in the background there. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I think there's a UND game tomorrow.
Oh, man.
San Diego.
All right.
Yeah. I'll be watching that one.
Thanks, Randy.
All right. Have a great day.
You too, man.
You as well. All right. We'll take a few short moments here. I'll try and get my safety gear out while Dean and Bridgette try and beat me up now. We'll be right back in a couple minutes. And welcome back to the program. Thanks for rejoining us. 150 on this finally Friday afternoon, and temperatures rising through the mid-70s out there with blue, sunny skies. We'll run down that forecast for you coming up here in just a little bit. Dean and Bridgette only beat me up slightly. You're saying go UND. I'm excited. When do UND and NDSU play? Is that the 5th of October? Is that 2 weeks from now?
It's the first weekend in October. Should be a really good game, and I look forward to seeing the outcome of that too.
Is
you
it
know,
in
off air I have Fargo.
Okay, Fargo.
It's in Fargo.
I gotta drive
off
down
air
there.
I've
Oh,
made some
yeah.
really
We'll
comments too
tailgate.
about
I'll
that
be
game,
the
but it'll be okay.
UND guy in the crowd. Everyone's throwing
Yeah.
beer and food at me.
Perfect.
Ah,
I'm
Perfect.
gonna be like a Vikings fan in Philadelphia, getting beat up in the parking lot.
Oh, man.
Names called.
I'll bring my
you have more.
camera.
You have very different. You have very different goals than many of us do, Justin.
You know what? We live life on the edge.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh.
Just saying. Goodness. Okay, well, so was one of those goals sheep shearing school? Because South Dakota State, I think we've talked about this before, but South Dakota, that deadline's coming. So if you want to head out to sheep shearing school, it's October 12th and 14th. So you can take in the UND NDSU game, then I can send you to sheep shearing school because there are 1.75 million pounds of wool produced in South Dakota with a value of over $2 million, and high quality, well stored wool matters. So not only will you be taught how to shear your sheep, but how to store it, keep track of it, and do all the right things to market your wool. First of all, I guess I have to get you some sheep, and then we'll start the shearing.
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take to shear a sheep?
45 seconds
You
if you're
watch-
good, 2 minutes if you're really bad.
Yeah, if you watch professionals, they really can do it in time frames like that. It's unreal.
Done. Next.
Just yeah, you park that sheep on her tail, she, he, whomever, and
It.
just go.
Them.
Be careful.
They.
Don't let them move around.
We.
And then clean. You know, you store the wool, but eventually it'll
Sheep.
get cleaned because there can be straw and dirt and whatnot stuck in their
Yes.
wool.
Yeah, dirty wool.
See, now there'd be a nice competition. Me, you, and Bridgette.
Who can shear the sheep
Sheep
fastest?
Shear the
Fastest.
sheep.
Yeah.
Who's got most of their sheep still intact? More like it.
Yeah, right.
Who's,
Well,
yeah,
there's an ear.
who's gonna
Who got injured?
Who's gonna volunteer their sheep?
Nobody.
Well, that's a good question.
you don't just run.
701-293-9000.
You just don't go blade down on the belly.
Yeah, no, there's some technique. I mean, you guys learned how to
Bump,
shave your faces without scalping yourselves. You can do a sheep.
Well, I don't know. It's certain days, yeah.
Yeah, some days. That's why I don't shave my face.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I've done a clean shave. It's been over. I think it's been over a decade since I've clean shaved.
Wow.
Yeah, it has to be over a decade.
Sounds like it's a competition now. How long can it last?
We just kind of trim it a little bit and then just let it keep going. I don't have to worry about the cuts, although I did cut my neck last week on it. Anyways, before we get to the weather forecast, what's been a while that we haven't done is dumb off trivia. Do you guys want to do a little short round of trivia? Because we were all wrapped up with Big Iron last week, and we had a bunch of guests last week as well.
We can do that.
We could do a short little 4-minute
Addison, does he have the questions
dumb off
back there?
trivia.
All right,
And
he's
he
all ready.
does, and I will pick some listeners out while we're playing, but why don't we just start this off right away?
All right,
what
ready to
dumb
roll.
off trivia is going to be is Addison's going to ask us a handful of questions. We got to shout our name out to answer it first. First person to get the answer right gets a point. Whoever has the most points at the end of trivia wins for their listener. Let's start it off. What's the first question there, Addison?
All right. What is the oldest stick and ball sport on record and is played in over 100
Justin.
different countries? Justin?
Bridgette.
Lacrosse.
No.
Dean.
Bridgette?
Bridgette,
Bridgette was
I
second.
Cricket.
No.
Well, I guess I'll say Dean, and I'm going to go baseball.
No, but that's what I thought it would have been.
Yeah.
Field hockey.
That's
Really?
lacrosse.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, field hockey is lacrosse.
I'll take your word on that.
You guys going to complain here?
No, we'll
I'll
give
let
it
it
to
go.
you.
All right, next one.
All right. In which direction does a tropical cyclone rotate? Clockwise and
What hemisphere?
Well, yeah,
Justin. Yeah, you
No,
jumped
no,
in. No, answer
No,
first.
I'm going to say counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere. And clockwise in the southern hemisphere.
Look at me. I'm Dean. I know things about the sky. What direction?
Wait. No.
Red and orange.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
Right,
colors
that
mix
one.
to make green?
Red and orange.
Oh, yeah, we had to get that first part in there. What colors mix to make or to make green?
Red
and orange.
Well, the color associated with the answer on this card is green. So,
Okay.
the answer, Dean, yeah, the answer is either on the card, but Dean
Yeah.
clearly
Oh,
got that.
either. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. All right.
All right.
1-0.
In 1970, which U.S. president founded the Environmental Protection Agency?
Dean.
Dean?
Bridgette.
Crap. Hold on. 1970.
Three.
It's before Carter.
2.
I gotta
One.
go Ford.
Bridgette.
Ford.
What do you got?
Bridgette?
It's before Carter. I can't think of who it was.
It was before Ford, so it would have been Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
Bridgette got it.
Yeah, we're all tied up.
See, Justin never would have got that
I
one.
actually was going to guess Nixon.
Were you really?
I was.
All right.
Okay.
Forgot Nixon.
So
was the
1-1-1.
Yeah, who? The guy from Futurama, he was president of the United States?
Yeah,
I thought he was
That guy,
president of
yes.
the world.
I paid attention in history class.
All right.
Which social crossword gaming app lets players compete against friends, total strangers, or on a computer?
Justin,
Bridgette.
Justin?
Words with Friends.
Yes.
Take that.
Do people even play that anymore?
I guess so.
No
yeah.
idea.
I think they got a different one now.
These are from 2016. They're a little out of date.
All right, what do we got next, Addison?
All right. Which Irish landmark do visitors kiss to gain the gift of the
Dean.
gab?
Bridgette.
Dean?
Blarney Stone.
Yes.
Oh, I hate this delay.
Excuses.
Yeah, we got to figure that out low key. We need to figure that
Yeah.
out.
We'll
All
work
right,
on that.
question number 6. I'm surprised we've gotten all these so far.
All right. What is the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth in Celsius?
Justin, minus 60
No, it's colder than that.
Celsius.
Yeah.
Because we're low on time, we can do Fahrenheit too.
Minus 121.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Anyone else have a guess on that?
Celsius, I'm going to go it was the same. I got to go minus 80.
You're pretty close.
It was either 80 or 90. It's right around. It's
84. All right, what's the answer?
89.2.
89.
Where was it
all right.
recorded?
Okay.
Antarctica?
Fargo.
Yes, you
Antarctica.
actually- yeah.
Steel, North Dakota.
Steel.
All right. Well, we're running low on time here. We'll have to do a tiebreaker between you and me, Dean.
Okay.
All right. How many meters are in a kilometer? Kilometer?
Justin,
Ah.
1,000.
Yes.
Ah.
Boom! Amanda T, you're the
job.
winner of Dumb Off Trivia today. Won you a great prize. Look at an email here from me after the show on how to claim it. And if you want to sign up to play Dumb Off Trivia, head on to the website WDAYradionow.com. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and just click on Weather and Ag and Focus Dumb Off Trivia. You can register there to win prizes and for us to play on your behalf. But that'll wrap up Weather and Ag and Focus today. Thanks for joining us. We'll hopefully be back on Monday
Go Bison.
from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Bison!
I'll have a full rundown on
Horns
that
up, baby.
forecast. Coming up with the Jay Thomas Show starts right after this next break.